All right, everyone. Welcome to Nightcrawlers. This is the solo project that I've been working on for a long time. If you guys don't know who I am, because I don't really post anything on the internet, I'm Devin Smith. I've worked on games like Halo, Mass Effect, Dead Space, sometimes as a writer, sometimes working at test. I've been a producer, I've been a game designer, and this is my solo project. Nightcrawlers is, well, Stranger Things just ended. I actually had the idea for this game 2 weeks before I ever heard of that show back in 2016. And I've been teaching myself how to build games from scratch in Unreal Engine. This is inspired by kind of 90s Nickelodeon kid content, not quite the fun, crass Ren and Stimpy stuff, but everything from The Adventures of Pete and Pete, if you can't tell from this debug map text. But it's also inspired by kind of games from the 2000s, anything from like Psychonauts to Super Mario Brothers. I wanted to make something that was a little bit more of like an old school platformer, kind of with new school trimmings. And so Nightcrawlers is I hate to say open world, but it is an open concept platformer that is not based around skill. It is a cooperative play. You play as Odie and Bree, if you saw the text there. Eventually, this is all placeholder art, so I am not an artist. I have not kind of started my modeling journey. But this game takes place in 1993. It's an age before cell phones, and it's a game about teaching kids how to play outside in an era of childhood that just doesn't really exist anymore. It's not just about the nostalgia, as I kind of get into the story elements over the course of like building this game further. It is very much about kind of what it was like to be a latchkey kid, kids with very little guidance who kind of were off in the world and foraging, making their own fun, actually making their own money and finding ways to kind of survive. And I noticed as a player of other types of cozy games that there wasn't something that was kind of the sweet spot between like a deep RPG and something that was a little bit kind of kind of closer to like cozy builder games. So in this game, you don't have a house. You are eventually going to build your treehouse / home base. You can see here that I'm already getting muddy. I want this world to be highly interactive, so we can see here that both the grass and the leaves are responding to me moving through it. As I move through the mud, I'm getting more muddy, and while it looks very inelegant when I go into water, I'll wash off. So what do these types of systems do in a game like this? So you might have played games like Fable or things like that. We can kind of see in the bottom left corner. I'm gonna change the music's gonna get loud, so I'll use my fart debug there. But some things that you can see in the corner with my rudimentary system is that we kind of have a little bone there, and we have a heart. I don't think you can make it out, but it's a heart that's also a brain. We call it brain heart. That's kind of indicating your emotional health. And so that's going to be going up and down over the course of the game as you find spooky things or you do fun, cute tricks. It's always going to be in flux, and that affects some of your other stats. So you might notice right now that the energy or the stamina, kind of represented by that like sun shape, has only gone up to around the same number as my emotional health. And so depending on how, and this system can change over time, I'm just exploring relationships as a designer, how to communicate that. But the stamina and my emotional health are tied together. I really can't have more energy if I'm bummed out. So I need to find things in the world for me and my best friend to kind of replenish that and allow me to kind of have more of that energy. You can also see that it's showing my height. I'm dynamically balancing, so it's kind of always checking to see like how high in the world I am, and am I doing something neat or cool. And we can see here now that I took a little bit of damage. You don't die in this game, you're a child, even though I explore the idea of death in there if you haven't seen the UFO in the background. That's a big part of the game, is ghost aliens, and I'll maybe get to that over the course of this. But here we can see that as I'm kind of like balancing, as I kind of let go and just take a moment to myself, the camera is kind of responding to my movement. And as I go into that focus mode, I can no longer like fall over, but I move a lot slower, and I can find these little jump points. I don't think my camera is pulled out far enough for you to see. I cannot screen record. I don't have enough horsepower. But as I jump, it's kind of showing me these little merit badges. And so kind of everything that you're doing in the game is kind of tracking itself. So if I were to jump off of here and fall over a little bit, I also, I farted. Right now, I don't know where this is gonna fall in the main game, but it's kind of a fun thing for now. So when you press kind of a wrong button of sorts, your character does a fart. So if I'm trying to like do a power slide, and I kind of press a wrong combination of buttons, he lets out a little fart. You can also switch over my characters here. And if I fart in or near them, they will also respond to that. Eventually later, that will also down your emotional health. And so we have these two characters that are kind of around. And so this game takes place between summer vacation and Halloween as you kind of go on a journey and an odyssey. You are two best friends and your haunted shopping cart. So this is something that plays in the story. If you guys have ever seen a movie like E.T. or things like that, this is kind of like a staple of like 80s and 90s content. I wanted to have a vehicle originally, like, you know, kids on bikes is kind of like a little bit, you know, overdone, overplayed. It kind of tells you what the story should be. But I saw some kids also in 2023 using a shopping cart like Jackass, and it reminded me that that's still a thing. And so rather than a bike, eventually you will both ride on Bew, your haunted shopping cart, at the same time, and there will be co-op controls for controlling him. But as I said, this takes place between summer vacation and Halloween, kind of the start of your best friendship. Eventually this will be like a boy and a girl, and this is your magical special friend. And so Bew has some tricks up his sleeve. So one, you know, he kind of slides around a little bit more. He's kind of a baby ghost who was never born, doing an impression of gravity. And so he's kind of doing his best to be the equivalent. And so when you can't see my controls, but as I let off the analog stick, he'll kind of fall downhill. But I also have a little bit of extra control. You might be able to hear my lawnmower attachment. And so I don't have any fancy effects. The wheels don't even move. But I can mow all of the grass in the world. And Bew also, as he just kind of moves to the world, is also going to cut grass depending on how fast you're going. And you can do sweet drifting. Bew can also defy gravity. So as you, he eats yard waste. You can kind of see where this is going. So I can also get these leaves here. We'll suck some up. And when we get enough, I unlocked the ability to fly or float in style. And so you will have this as an ability as you go through the world. You will be able to unlock abilities like this ability to climb up steep slopes. So you can see here with this not activated, I can't make it up. But then when I activate, I will be able to get up into places that I was not able to go before. Bew also hops off of curbs. And he also has the ability to float independently of his moon jump. And so if I go off a ramp like this and I hold the left trigger, I can float, and then I can use my energy. And then if I land in grass, I can kind of combo this together and kind of float and move through the world. The only catch with this is that Bew is your secret special friend. So eventually later, when there's more NPCs around and in their houses and in their yards, you will not be able to use these powers around grown-ups or kids that you have not developed relationships with. And so that's kind of the fun catch of these things. So going back into, hey, what do we do with these kids here? So besides falling all over everything, let me, we're gonna turn off that music and we'll just make it sunset time. So Nightcrawlers kind of takes place in that stereotypical space between the end of when you get out of school during each day as you kind of make your way through the world and kind of do chores, find adventures, and kind of make your own fun. And so there are all sorts of different activities that you'll be able to do. I'm just starting to build those out. But everything is kind of just based off of playground logic. And so here, for example, I can shoot hoops. Let's see, I'll make that basket. This system is also a little bit more dynamic in the sense that you can see with my little debug line here that I kind of have a chance shot showing me that it's like yellow and that there's a chance that I can make it. And over time, you'll get more points for doing more cool or interesting shots, and the game will be tracking that kind of stuff. So, for example, if I use my little focus jump mode to go and find little jumps in the world, I can try to, say, shoot it off of here, and maybe I make the shot, maybe I don't. This just kind of shows me the range. But if my really dumb AI stops getting caught up on each other, you can see that I can also pass the ball. So again, cooperative play, you get little achievements and medals for being able to pass things back and forth. You also cannot grab ledges like this when you have something in your hands. So to get a ball up here, suddenly I need to, oh, we're finding bugs. Suddenly I need to pass to my friend. And then I can also request a pass. But obviously he doesn't have a line of sight. He doesn't have a good angle. But if he were up, say here, and had the high ground, he would be able to pass it to me. And so you also drop things when your hands are full. But yeah, you can take items to interesting places and find yourself in yards and other scenarios that the rest of the world kind of becomes a bit of a puzzle. Some examples of things like this. Say I needed to get into this yard here. Well, eventually later, I could just kind of come up and do something more interesting here and try to jump over this. Or I might take a route like this. And can I make this jump? There we go. And then I find myself in this backyard. And it's a little bit dark and I can't really see stuff, and we'll kind of go over that in a second. This game is called Nightcrawlers, but I might be able to make a path for my friends to get back here on their own, and they should be able to join me. Or now that I'm back here, I can move this gate. I don't have really cool door physics yet. But you'll be able to do chores for your neighbors and get money. So we can see here that I'm able to mow this lawn. Eventually I'll have like a better UI for each of these elements. You know, kind of the fun part about this right now, this is a little bit boring, but there will be obstacles and things like that that you need to clear out of the path. There's like bigger sections of grass like that for like a big yard that might give you more money. And we have little patches of incremental grass like this over here. And so there will also be elements of gardening and decorating, but you don't own a house. You'll eventually have like your home base, but rather than like something like Stardew Valley, where you kind of have like your farm and homestead, the taking care of your neighbors' yards and lawns and decor and finding cool things and things that they want, you kind of start to shape the whole world and the community, your small community. And so as I kind of go into the new year, this first year was just kind of spent on movement and kind of getting some of the core elements in place. And then I haven't talked about rain or puddles. This is all based off of Oregon and Portland. We can see Mount Hood in the background. It will be a fictionalized version of these places. But if I make it daytime again, we can see for now that my water gun also shoots air. And I can use this as a leaf blower, and I can actually like blow some of these leaves into view, and he'll catch them. Where's our friend? He's trapped over here. It's really hard to build an AI system for all of this stuff. We'll have him throw the gun. We'll knock that kid over, and we'll come back over here. And I'm still refining this system, but you can also rake leaves with the power of your haunted tools. And so the faster I go, the more leaves I'll lose. And so this just kind of forces you into a little bit more of a Zen activity. I'm gonna make this a little bit more dynamic and kind of like fun to do over time. But you each have your own tool, and you can work together and feed Bu, your baby, all the little treats that he needs in order to kind of get you to your different locations. We'll use our debug fart once again. So one of the things I really wanted to focus on is like things, you know, you never really saw like things like real-time lighting or kind of this mood or vibe in like a game that's built for like kids and adults, or like a pseudo family title. And this game is really all about atmosphere. Now the art will look the same, but I really kind of want to find a way to split the difference between you know, systems that allow you a sense of discovery. You might have seen that we were like bumping into stuff. There's a lot of like force feedback in this game, so when you bump into things, the game is telling you, hey, like you hit something. But now we have this flashlight, and with the flashlight, I can see that there's an item in the water here. I can't pick it up because I do not have 2 free hands, because that's a 2-handed item. But what I can do is I can pass the flashlight to my friend, and we might have lost that ball. Here we go. And if we get him into range, he should be able to re-highlight things. So we're still working out this system, but I might be able to find another flashlight here in the woods. But we can see that when I'm in range of objects, I can actually see more than I was able to see without the flashlight, even in daylight. And so the difference between how daytime and nighttime feel. I also want there to be things like flashlight tag. You'll be able to explore inside some of the houses. Houses will become haunted over the course of the story as you kind of uncover all of the secrets of your neighborhood. But we shot hoops. One of the other things you'll be able to do is you'll be able to pick up litter. And so we can see here that I have this can that I picked up. Eventually later, this will be a recycling bin. I'm not completely a monster. We'll move our trash can lid shield. That was blocking the path, so if my friend had a free hand, he could go and move that out of the way. And I can throw my litter away, and I'll be able to bring those types of things to recycling bins and get points for that. But let's grab this other flashlight. I'm still teaching myself all sorts of things. This is very dark right now, and I'm tripping over all sorts of stuff. So kind of having which tools in your hand and the focus of those things that's your inventory. You'll be able to store stuff on Bu and things like your collectibles, and he'll pick up your tools. But we can kind of go into this empty house here. This is just like a prefab. And we'll walk up these stairs. And we'll find something maybe a little spooky. Yep, there we go. So we got a floating dollhouse in this house. And so there will all be sorts of little hauntings as you kind of unlock the secrets of why this UFO has arrived at your town. Big fart sounds. So this is Nightcrawlers as it stands today. I'm going to be continuing to work on this in my spare time. Everything on this game has been just nights and weekends, and just me asking the occasional question of some of my other game dev friends, and just trying to kind of like figure out the best way to make all of this happen. So I haven't done an update since October, and these have been pretty rare. I just wanted to kind of share with people kind of the state of the game, and hopefully get some folks as excited as I am to build and play this. But I hope that you all had a wonderful holiday, and I'll update you in the new year.